Rock Computer College. Define quality training in information technology.
Welcome to our new course series, CorelDRAW for Beginners. Now, this series is designed for beginners or new users with CorelDRAW. But if you're intermediate, this course will be valuable for you too, since there'll be some tips and tricks thrown into the course. See you in the introduction for CorelDRAW Beginners series. Welcome to the first lesson of the CorelDRAW Beginners series. Now, once you open Corel for the first time, you'll see the welcome screen. Now, this is where you get started from. You can opt to open a new document. You can open a new from template, open an existing document if you've been working recently with Corel, or open other from other sources you have in your hard drive. Now, at the top, you can see we have the software name. Then we have the menu bar. Now, it's limited because we haven't opened any document, as you can see. Then we have the standard toolbar over here and the properties bar. Now, these are disabled because we don't have any open document currently. As you can see, they are inactive. Then on the side over here, we have the toolbar. Now, we're going to open a new document, and you can click over here to open a new document. You can choose the type of, you can name it from over here. So let's give it a name. I'll name my example 1. You can choose the number of changes, the primary color code, the dimensions. So if you want an A4, A5, A3, you can choose them from here. So I'll work with an A4. You can make changes here. Do you want it to be a portrait or a landscape orientation and the resolution? You can make the changes over here, but I'm going to set mine at portrait and leave the rest as they are and click OK. Now, as you can see, our new page is open. Our new document is open, and at the top you can see that the menu bar and the toolbar, the standard toolbar, are active now. From here I can change the units, the size. I can make changes from here off the page, and as you can see, the toolbar on the side, it's also active as well. Now, if you want to add another page while working on Corel, you can click on the plus sign like so, and then you will create another page. So I'll name this example 2, click OK, with everything else left as it is. And as you can see, we have a new page, example 2, we have example 1 and 2, and you can go on and keep adding new pages. If you want to remove a page, you just click on this and then it will delete it, and then you're left with one page. On the right side, we have the color palette, and this is where you get to choose the colors you want to work with when you're using Corel. Now you can choose from these colors, and if you hold your cursor over here and then drag it out, you will notice that the color palette is movable. You can resize it and sort of have it up here just hanging around, so you can bring it closer when you're working on your project and go through these colors to use them. You can also come back here, click and drag it, put it on the top. If you want to remove it here, again, you can do whatever you want with it. You can move it from one place to another. So I'll just minimize that, and I'll leave it over here. So you can place it wherever you want on your window and work with this. Now, another thing you want to understand when working with Corel is how to zoom into your document and to zoom out. If you want to zoom in, just on your mouse, scroll upwards and it will zoom in, and scroll downwards and it will zoom out. So upwards, you'll be zooming in, scroll downwards using the scrolling bar, and it will zoom out. Then you have these slider bars over here. You can use them to center your page or move it how you want to move it to a position where you can properly see it. That is all for the first introductory lesson to CorelDRAW series for beginners. In the next lesson, we're going to look at how to use different tools in Corel and what different tools do in Corel. Welcome to the second lesson in the CorelDRAW series for beginners. Now in this lesson we're going to look at using some tools in Corel. And the first tool we're going to look at is the pick tool. Now the pick tool, this is the first tool up here, and it's used to transform or move objects within your page. And if you click on it, you can see it has its own properties over here. Now the other tool is the rectangle tool. If you right click on it, it will show you, if you click this icon down here, it will show you the options that it has. So I'll select it and come here, click, left click, and then hold down and drag it out to create a rectangle. Now if you want a square, all you have to do is hold on Control and you have a square. Now this is where the pick tool comes in. You can click on it and then come here and then move it around. I can also come over here and resize it. I've made it smaller, or I can come here and transform it. Now it's a rectangle, so I'll press Ctrl Z to undo that. So now I'm left with a square. Now you can see I only have the outline. As you can see, the outline is on and it's color black from over here, but we have no fill color. Now if you like to add a fill color, all you have to do is now to the outline. Let's first look at adding a color to the outline. I'll come to this color palette and I'll right click on a color, and then it will change the color of the outline. I'll come and right click again on a different color, and as you can see, it will change the color of the outline. If I come over here and right click on it, it will remove the outline. So the outline is gone. So I'll press Ctrl Z to undo that. Now the outline is back, and right click again, it's a different color. Now if you want to add the fill color to this square, all you have to do is come over here and left click on any color, and as you can see, now we have a fill color. Again, left click and we have a different color. So I'm going to remove the fill color by left clicking on this icon over here, and as you can see, the fill color is gone. And now I'll come over here and change the width of this outline. Come over here, let's make it better, a little bigger than that. That's too much. Let's take it at 2. Yeah, better. So I'll come here, right click, change the color, and then come here, left click, and we have a fill color. Then we have the zoom tool. This is the zoom tool. If you click on it, you can see we have options here, so you can zoom in. So I'll just drag this away, center this, and then you can zoom out by just pressing over here. You can zoom out, and you also have other options here. You have zoom to page height or zoom to page width. So feel free. Also, you can scroll. If I scroll upwards, I'm zooming in, as you can see. If I scroll downwards, I'm zooming out. I'll just adjust that a little bit. Over here, zoom out, and there we go. So those are the three main tools we have in Corel that you'll find yourself using a lot. That is the shape tool, the zoom tool, and the pick tool. Now another thing I forgot to include in the first lesson was the page numbers. Now you can see here you have only one page, that is page 1. If I wish to add another page, I can click on this icon over here, this little icon. If I click on it, it will add another page. Now another way you can go about that is by right clicking on the page, and then it will give me options. So I can choose to rename the page, so I can come here and rename it to example 2, click OK, and as you can see, my page name has been changed. Okay, again, if I right click, I can insert a page after, that is page 3, or insert a page before. Now that's page 2. My example 2 became page 3. I can duplicate the page. So if I had something over here and I wanted to duplicate it to another page, I'll just use this command. And I can also come here and delete page. So I'll come here, delete page, come back here again, delete, delete, and I'm left with the first and only original page. That is page number 1. See you in the next lesson. Welcome to the third lesson in the CorelDRAW beginner series. Now in this lesson, we're going to do some practical. So we're going to remake these logos. I'm going to start off with the Dell logo, and then I'll leave you this as an exercise so that you can try it out later. So what we're going to do first is that we're going to pick the ellipsis tool, come over here, and then if you want to make a circle, you hold down the control key and then you click and drag out, and as you can see, it's a perfect circle. There we go. So I'll go back to the pick tool, move this over here, reduce its size a little bit, and that looks good. Now with it selected, I'll come over here and increase its outline, its width. So click on that, and that looks perfect. Then the next thing I want to do is to change the color, the outline color. So remember what I said, if you want to change the outline color, you right click on the color palette. So this is the color I want. So I'll come and right click on it. And as you can see, the color has changed. Now moving away from that, I'll come, take the text tool. Now I want to type in this word. So as you can see, my cursor has changed. So I'll click on in here and then type in Dell with caps lock on. I'll type in Dell. Now I'm going to increase that a little bit, and then I'm going to select it, come over here and choose a different font. This is the one I've selected, and then you can increase its size. So I can come here again, select the text, come here, a little bit more. No, we'll work with 48. Then come take the pick tool, check it, and then place it over here. Now one thing, as you can see, it's supposed to almost fit, so I'll increase it a little bit. And then now what I'll do is I'll change its color. So with it selected, I'm going to come here and left click on this color, and as you can see, the color has changed. Now if you notice, the E over here, it's a bit slanted, so I have to pick the E here slanted. So what I'll do is I'll move this back over here. Now if you want to separate these, there's a way that Corel allows you to separate the text. So all you have to do is select it, then come to Object, then break artistic text, click on that, and what that will do, it will separate this text, so it will operate as an object. So I'll have E as an object, so I can click here and then I can come here and rotate it like so. Perfect. Then I'll select all of them, come back again to Object, then Group. So I'll select Group, and now they are grouped, and as you can see, now it's back to the way it was. Then I can click here, select it, then drag it here, you center it. You can use your arrow keys to move it into the right position that you want it to. Now as you can see, I've come up with the Dell logo, so I'll come here again, just minimize that a little bit, move it down using my arrow keys, and that looks perfect. Now for your assignment, I'll like for you to remake this logo. It's pretty simple. All you have to do is come up with this shape and then the text inside. It's very, very simple, and I'll see you in the next class. Welcome to another lesson in the CorelDRAW tutorial series for beginners. Now, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to put text in custom shapes or in letter shapes. So the first thing we're going to do is create a custom shape and then put text in it. So we're going to do a call out, but first let's take the text that you want to use over here. So what I'll do is I'll select the text tool, come over here, click and drag like so, and now we can see we have the text box. Then control paste. There's some text I hide too much, so I'll just delete the rest. So I just want I think that's enough for me. I'll come here, control Z. So select the pick tool, move this to the side. Now we can create our custom shape over here. So I'll select the ellipsis tool. Now the custom shape I want to create is the call out shape. So what I'll do is I'll create the ellipsis shape like so. And then I'll come to object, then convert to curves. Now this will allow us to manipulate the shape and customize it. Come take this tool, I'll come over here, create a point by double clicking, come here again, create another point by double clicking, and then in between these 2 points I'll click one more, like so, and then I'll click on the third one, the one in the middle, and just drag it out like so. And then come back, pick the pick tool, and as you can see now we have created a custom shape that is the call out shape. Now what I'm going to do now is insert this text over here. So select text tool, come over here, select all this, control C for copy, then I'll come in here. Now I'll take the cursor to the edges. Now as you can see, it will show you that you can either put the text in the edge or inside the shape. Now if you want it to be on the edge, you will click over here where it shows you edge. But if you want the text inside the shape, you're going to come a little bit, lower your cursor a little bit, and then until you see the rectangular shape that is here, then you're going to click, and that will convert the text into the shape into a text box. And now you can press Ctrl V and it will have all your text in there. Now if these red dots appear, that shows that you have extra text that cannot be seen, so you can choose to edit. So I can come over here and choose to delete the extra texts like so. Like so, and now you can see it is turned to blue. That means we can see all the text. Now from here you can format your text, so you can come over here, select your text, change the size, you can change the font, you can make all the alterations you want to your text from over here. Then once you're done, take the pick tool, and there you have it, your text inside a customized shape. Now let's say you want to add a background color to the shape with that selected. Now if you just select it like that and then come here and select a color, the color will hide the text. So what we do instead, so Ctrl Z to undo, what we do instead, you deselect everything, then you come to the edge and you click on this outer line, the outer line like that. Now you have selected the shape only. Then come here, select your tag, the color you want to add to the background, and as you can see now, I successfully added a background without having to hide the text behind the color. So that's how we do it. And you can also choose to add color to your text. So text tool, come over here, select your text, then choose the color you want to use on your text, As you can see now, we've changed the color of our text. So that's one way of doing it. This is by using a custom shape. So let's look at using a letter shape. So I'll take the text tool, come over here and type in any letter you want to use. Any letter. So I'll type in letter S. Now for this, you might decide to change the font. So select that, come here, I'll use that one, Arial bold, and then I'll come over here with big tool and make it large, like so. Now the next thing I want to do is remove the fill color. So I'll come over here and left click on that. Then I want to add the outline color. So I'll come here and right click on that. So to remove the fill color, you left click on this. To add the outline color, you right click on this. And there we have our outline color. Now I want to convert this into a curve so I can be able to use it as a shape. So what we'll do again, with that selected, you'll come to object and then convert to curves. Now this will convert that shape into now that text into shape, and it loses all text control it used to have. You can see even the properties for the text are now gone. So with it as a shape, we're going to now add the text. So I'll come over here, select the text tool, select all this, Control C for copy, then come over here. Now the same thing, if you come over here with your cursor, you can see it says edge. Now that means the text will go around the edge, but we want the text inside the text. So we'll go lower bit until we see the little rectangular icon, and then we click, and then come. As you can see now, the text has been converted into a text box. Now you can come and press Control V, and there we have our text. Now it shows that we have a lot of text in there. Some of the text cannot be seen, so I'll highlight everything, come here, select fully justify, and try and minimize the font. If that doesn't work, you can choose now to edit. So put my cursor over here and just do that until it shows me that the text can be now properly seen. I want to reduce the font a little bit. There we go. Zoom out and picture, and there we have it. We have now text inside our shape. And the same thing you can do, you can choose to add a background color to this. So instead of selecting the whole thing, deselect first, then come and click on the outer edge, the outer line. You come here and left click on any background color you want to use. So I'll use that one. As you can see, I've added a background color to that. If you want to do the same for the text, select the text tool, highlight all the text, and then come here and select a color you'd like to use. Pick tool, and as you can see, we've converted now our shape. We initially started with the text, and then we converted into a shape. We added the text box inside, added some text, then went ahead and added the background color and even changed the color of the fonts. So that's how you add text in shapes, customized or text shape, and it's as easy and fun as that. I hope you have fun practicing this out. Welcome to another lesson on the CorelDRAW tutorial for beginners course, and in this lesson we're going to discuss the pen tool. Now there's a lot of myths around the pen tool being a difficult tool to work with, but it's not so. The pen tool is a fun tool to use as a graphic designer, and it's actually very crucial to you as a graphic designer. So we're going to start with some basic things, and I will show you how fun and easy it is to use the pen tool. So first we're going to select the pen tool. So first thing we're going to do is make a straight line, a simple straight line. So click over here, then hold down the shift key and then drag it till the end, click again, and you've made a straight line. Now if you'll notice, we have this extra line still coming from the pen tool, so it's like the pen tool wants to go on and on and on and on, but we want to want that you already got the result we wanted. So what you can do is hold on the control key and then click outside once, and as you can see, you're done. So let's do that again. Click, hold on the shift key, straight line. I don't want this extra, so I'll hold on the control key and then click outside once, and that's it. So you can see I've created two beautiful straight lines. Now as you can see, the properties panel has changed, meaning you can play around with properties of each straight line. You can choose whether you want a solid line, a dotted dashed line. You can decide on what design you want to be on your line. You can also decide whether you want to add an arrowhead to it. So let's say with the one I have selected, I'll add an arrowhead to it, and then I'll come over here and increase its size so it's visible. And then I'll add this design at the back so it looks something kind of like this. So yeah, you can play around with designs. Come over here, let's see, so this one, increase the size. Come over here, how do you want it to look like? It may actually look like that. And so you can use these arrows, these designs on your posters, on your work during designing. So yeah, you can play around with the properties panel over here and see what you can do with straight lines. Now another fun thing you can do with this is you can create a shape and a curve out of a straight line. Now let's see how you can convert a straight line into a shape and then into a curve. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw another straight line. It's fun, it's easy. Just click, hold on the shift key, drag, click, control, click outside, and you have a straight line. Now I want to convert this into a shape so I'm able to use it in my design. What will I do? I'll come over here. Let me click on here. Make sure that you've selected the shape tool. So I'll come with this shape tool, select this, right click, and select to curve. Now you will see that there will be two nodes added to this line, and it's no longer solid straight line, it's somehow dash dotted. So that means that you've converted into a shape, and now these two nodes will allow you to convert it into a curve. All you have to do is just click and drag like so. You have to create a curve, so I'll just click and drag. There we go. So feel free, you can make it big as this, small. You can just play around with this and see what fits, what makes you happy, like so. I think I'm pleased with mine. Yes, I'm pleased with mine. So select the pick tool, and by doing so we've created a shape out of this line, and then we've converted it into a curve. So I'll show you a quick smart way you can use this. So I use this a lot in my design. So this is what I do. I'll click it and drag it down over here, like so. Let's just put it there we go. So I want to create a borderline for this posters. So I'll select the rectangle tool, come over here and just do this to create borders for this, and then using the smart fill. Now I want to use the smart fill to color this side of the poster. Let's say I'm making a poster, so I want to use the smart fill on this side. So just select that, click over here, and as you can see, it will only affect the area below the line. If I wanted it to be above, I could just come here and click Ctrl Z. Let's use a different color here. There that's okay. Okay, so let's say I wanted it to be the color to be actually above you. We could just have come and clicked above, and then it will only have covered the area above the curve. Remember, we converted it into a shape and then into a curve. So that means anything that I want to color on the upper side will be colored at once, or if I want to color below the curved line, it will only affect everything that's below that curved line. So Control Z to undo. I'm okay with this, so I'll just come over here and click, and you can come over here and actually play around with the colors. That actually looks really good. Yeah, so yeah, just play around with the colors, then go ahead with your design. Go ahead and do what you wanted to do, maybe a poster, a romantic card, a birthday card. But this is one way you can come up with designs for your posters or for your cards. Now, another fun thing you can do with a pen tool is this. So with my pen tool selected, you can actually create a curve or a wavy line without having to convert it into a shape. So what you'll do, I'll actually do that from over here. So you just click, drag, click, hold and drag to form a curve like so. Then just drag this over here, click again, click and drag, and you can go on and on and on and on. So let's just move it and one, and there we have it. So Control, click outside. That's it. We've created a wave line, a curve, by just using the pen tool. So let's try that again. I'll just do that from inside here. Click, just click on anywhere, drag. Let's make it smaller this round. Click, hold, do not let go, then drag. Now once you're done, release your mouse, then come here, form another curve, click over here, then drag. So that time you have to click, hold and drag, release, then form the curve again, then click, and so on and so on and so on and so on, and then you'll form this beautiful curve by just using the pen tool. And you can't even say that I've used the pen tool. Just look at how cool it is, at how continuous it is. You can say I've used so Control click, look at just look at how beautiful that is. So you can create waves like this, convert them into a shape, and then use it when you're making drawing, maybe to do something to do with an ocean, or in just any design you want. So yeah, feel free to play around with the pen tool. You can create really amazing shapes. So you can do that. So let's come over here. So yeah, Control click, create really fun shapes by just using the pen tool. So go ahead and have as much fun as you can with the pen tool. Create this design, come up with these designs, and yeah, just have fun with it. It's an easy and fun tool to use, especially in CorelDRAW. Welcome back to another tutorial on the CorelDRAW course for beginners. In this tutorial, we're going to look at other freehand tools that we have, and click and hold, we have the 2-point line and the Bézier tool. So let's select the 2-point line. So with the 2-point line, you can create a straight line. So you click, then you drag, and you've created a straight line. Again, with this selected, it has some properties at the top over here. So you can increase its weight. You can change its orientation. So if you want dotted line, dashed line, for now I'm going to go with solid line. You can add arrow points to its head and its tail, like so. So those are some of the options that you have working with it. Another thing that you can do with the 2-point line tool is that you can create a closed shape. So what you do is you click, drag, release, then at that point click again, drag, release, again click, release, click again, and then you come here. And as you can see, as we approach the node at the beginning here, is this little arrow that appears. Now that shows that if I release it, that shape will be closed. Let's try again. Let's form a triangle. So click, drag, click, and then drag again, and click and drag again. Now with this shape, you can see we still have the properties over here. So you can increase the weight and you can change the color. Same to this one. So I'm just going to move this. So let's go to the next tool. We have the Bézier tool. Now the Bézier tool allows you to make adjustable curves. So I'll just going to click and then come over here, click again, and then drag. So you can create curves using the Bézier tool. Let's do that again, and you can continue creating more points, and you can also use it to create a closed shape. So if you want to create a curve, so let's first get rid of this. So we've created a closed shape. Let's select the Bézier tool again. So click, drag and hold, again drag and hold. So once you do that, this anchor point will appear, and this anchor point will help you adjust it. Then click, drag and hold, and you can add to this as you go and end up creating a closed shape. So these three tools that we've looked at, the Freehand tool, the Bézier tool, and the 2-point line tool, are freehand tools that will allow you to do this, and they share the same properties. So with this selected, I can change its orientation, I can increase. You can see now it's bordered, and then you can increase its weight, and you can also give it a color. So go ahead and practice with these 3 freehand tools. Over here, the freehand tool, the 2-point line, and the Bézier tool. Welcome back to another tutorial in the CorelDRAW course for beginners. In this class, we're going to look at aligning objects. Now, as you're working with CorelDRAW, you will find yourself aligning object, images, shapes, and it's important to grasp that aspect. So what we're going to do is, you can see we cannot access the alignment panel from anywhere. So what you'll do is you go to Window, Dockers, and then Align and Distribute, and the Align and Distribute panel will appear to your right. Now, what I want to do is I want to select them. But there is one thing you need to note when aligning your objects. You must make sure that you select a base object or shape for your alignment. That means all the other objects will be aligned in accordance to that one object. And in order to do this, you select the first shape, hold down your shift key, second, and then third. Now the third object that you selected will be the base of your alignment. The last object that you'll select, regardless of how many you have, it will form the base of your alignment. Now once this is selected, you can see now it's active, and I have 6 commands over here. So the first one is align left. You can see they will all align to the base shape. Align center, the base shape remains. Align right, the base shape will remain. Let's try the other one. Align to the top, center, and bottom. You can see they'll all revolve around that base shape. So let's do this again, but this time choose a different base. So I'm just going to disarrange them like so. So I'll select this one first, hold down shift, select this one, and that way. Or let's just try selecting the one in the middle as the third one. So select this one, hold down shift, this one, and then this one. Now automatically holding down shift will make sure that it's selected everything else in between the first one and the last one, so that won't work. So let's just go with the original plan, hold down shift, select this one, and then the little green rectangle. Now let's go back to our command line left. You can see they all align in accordance to our base shape. Align center, align right to the top, both a center, and then to the bottom. You can see how they all revolve around that one shape. So as you go around aligning your objects, make sure that you've selected your base shape, and go ahead and practice with that command and see that how that will work out for you. Welcome back to another tutorial in the CorelDRAW course for beginners. Now, here we're going to talk about adding and deleting nodes to a shape or a curve point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a polygon, and then we're going to draw a closed shape using the Freehand tool. So we have these two shapes over here. Now I want to show you how to add and delete nodes. Now, an instance where you might find yourself adding or deleting nodes is when you want to smooth out an object or you want to add to its appearance. So for instance, I want to smooth out this curve. So that means I will delete some nodes from it, especially here. So what I'll do is I'll come to the shape tool, then where the nodes are located, I'll double click. Now by double clicking, I remove that node. Again, double click. You can see you can remove it. So let's do this and see how this will go. So you can see you are actually smoothing it out. Now let's say you want to add those nodes back. Again, all you have to do is double click, and then you can modify the shape. Double click again, modify the shape again. So right now I'm just adding nodes to this. Another way of deleting nodes is by selecting it, then right click and select delete. That will delete the node. And if you want to add again, click on a point on the line where you want to add the node, then right click and select add, and you've added a node at that point. So that's one way of working with wood. Let's see how it will look with sharp edged shapes. So again, with it selected, take the shape tool. Let's come over here and add a node. So if I click and drag this, I will be able to form this really cool shape. Let's give it a color so you can see what you can do when you add or delete nodes to a shape. Let's put this aside. Do it again, try something different. So let's try deleting this node over here. So I'll just double click on it, and you can see now it's much straighter. Double click, it's gone. So you have to check to what extent you're doing it, because you might find yourself losing your shape altogether. So let's try adding more nodes. One over here. Again, if you want to add, just left click once, then right click and select add. You can see we've added them. So if I click and drag on one, give that a color, you can see the beautiful things that you can come up with in CorelDRAW by just adding or deleting nodes on a shape. Now this can work for both closed off shapes or any other logo icons that you have. So go ahead and practice this with icons, different shapes, different pictures, and see how that will work out for you. Welcome back to another course in the CorelDRAW course for beginners. In this tutorial, we're going to focus on the Freehand tool. So here it is, just do it to click. Let's hold it down for a minute. So we have these 3 points. They act similar to each other, But for now, we're going to look at the freehand tool. So just select that. So let's start off by drawing a curve. I'm just going to draw a curve here. And then you can see it's not so perfect, but we have these nodes on it. So this is how you use a freehand tool, and you can create curves, and at the nodes, as you can see, I can be able to manipulate it and move it around. So you can either use the freehand tool to create curved shapes or sharp edged shapes. So let's try a curved shape, a closed shape that is. And if you want to know that your shape is fully closed, it will bring this arrow at the cursor, and once you release, it will have formed a closed shape. So let's try this again. And you can see that little arrow next to my cursor, so if I release that, it will close that shape for me. And now I'll be able to change the colors. So let me just resize this. Place it here. Now let's try drawing a straight line using the freehand tool. And that's very easy. All you have to do is click, then drag it out in whatever direction you want. Then just click again and you have a straight line. Now there are a lot of things you can do to this straight line similar to the curved line. You can come over here and change its weight. You can select a bordered or dashed line. You can choose to add arrow points at the beginning and at the end of that point. This will apply similar to this, so let's try and increase this. Let's make it more. So you can see, so you can make these changes to these lines. Another thing with the freehand tool is that you can be able to draw sharp edged shapes. So here we've created curvy shape. So let's try using the freehand tool to create shapes like a square, rectangle, or a triangle. So just click, then double click. You click the first time, then you come over here, double click, again double click, again, and then when you come at the end here, you only click once, and you've created a closed shape. Let's try creating a triangle. So click once, top, double click, come over here, double click again, and then once you're closing it up, you click only once. So we've created these two shapes using the freehand tool. Again, you can go ahead and change the colors, and I'm just going to place them over here. Now let's look at creating curves more closely with the freehand tool. So as you can observe at the top here, we have this command here that allows you to smooth out your lines. It's known as the freehand smoothing command. Now currently it's at 50%, and at 50%, this is the kind of line I'll get. Let's see what will happen if I put it at 0%. You can see the line is more curvier. If we just select this, select it again, you can see it's not perfect. It has more dips and dips to it as compared to the first one. But now let's try putting this back to 100 and see the difference. You can straight away notice the difference between the three of them. So this one is at 0% and it doesn't look really good. This is at 50% and it's somehow okay. But with this one, you can see the curves are perfect, they're smooth. It doesn't have as many nodes as this one or this one. So make a point of using this command when you're drawing lines. Now again, it depends with what you're drawing or what you're creating. So go ahead and practice with this and see how it will work out for you. Welcome back to another tutorial on the CorelDRAW course for beginners. In this lesson, we're going to look at importing a photo to CorelDRAW, a photo or an image, and then we're going to look at resizing it and cropping it out. So I'm going to show you two ways of bringing or importing an image to CorelDRAW. So the first one is by going to where your image is, you select it, then click and drag and just drop it over here. Now you can see it's a little bit large, so I'm going to zoom out by scrolling down, then I'm going to resize this. Place it here, let's zoom in. I'm going to use H for hand tool and just bring this over here. Perfect. So that's one way of bringing in a photo or an image in CorelDRAW. But right now I'm going to select this and click delete. Let me show you the second one. So the second way is by coming to File, then Import, then go to where your image is, select it, and then click Import. Click, and here is your image. You can see it's a little too big, so I'm going to scroll out. Zoom out, sorry, I'm going to zoom out, then resize that, then let's zoom in. Perfect. So zoom out a little bit. So that's the second way of bringing in an image to CorelDRAW. Now once you have your image, you're going to need to resize it and crop it out. So as you've seen me do before, if you want to resize it, resize it from the corner. So you just click and drag. This will ensure that it doesn't lose its quality. So you can see it will not lose its quality. Another thing you need to notice as you're resizing it, make sure that these measurements do not go above 150. The percentage, sorry, does not go above 150. If that happens, it's going to distort its quality. So you can see right now it's at 30. So ensure that it doesn't go above 150 or it's going to distort its quality. This is how you resize an image in Corel. Kindly refrain from doing this on the side. You can see it's losing its quality. If I come and resize it on the side, it's not as good as it was before. That's why I insist on resizing from the corners, from the edges. Now let's look at cropping. If you want to crop an image, one way you can do it is by selecting the crop tool. Then you come over here, click and drag over the area that you want to remain with. Then release it, hit enter, and it will delete everything else and you'll be left with that image only. So you can see I'm only left with the image at the center. So hit Ctrl Z. So the second way of cropping out an image is by using the shape tool. So I'll select the image, then select the shape tool, and then you can see this line that will show you an arrow at the top. Just click on it and drag it. And what this will do is that it will go and delete the part that you don't want of that image. So those are the two ways of importing. We've looked at the two ways of importing an image to CorelDRAW, and we've also looked at two ways in which you can crop an image in CorelDRAW. So go ahead and practice and see how that works for you. Welcome back to another tutorial in the CorelDRAW course for beginners. In this tutorial, we're going to look at the Freehand tool. Now, the Freehand tool allows you to edit nodes and object points in CorelDRAW. And this is here. Actually, if you hover over it, it will give you its description. So it says it will help you edit a curve object or text character by manipulating the nodes. So let's go ahead and create some shapes. Create this one. Polygon. And lastly, I'm going to select the Freehand tool and draw a curve. So we have these three different shapes, and I want to show you what happens when we use the shape tool on each one of them. So let's start off with this one. I select the shape tool, come here and click and drag on one of its corners. You can see it's rounding off its edges, and I'll end up with a rounded rectangle like that. If I select this, I can click and drag like so to form kind of a pie chart. So if you're planning on inserting a pie chart or creating something like that, you can use it. It's really handy. You can extend it, you can separate it, you can take it back, so you can always revise it. So I'll just click and drag it back. So just leave it at that. Let's see what will happen if you use this. So I'll just click, hold, and release. So let's add a fill color to this. And there we go. So with the shape tool again, select this. You can see the changes that I can make to an individual shape. So you can use this to create really good logos, come up with cool designs. You can see there are limitless options to what you can do. So let's see what will happen if we use the curve point. So I'll just click and drag, and what this allows me to do is to edit the curve points of a curve. So you can see now I've changed its shape. I can actually drag it here. So regardless of what shape it is, the curve, it allows you to make the modifications to it to suit your needs. So that's basically how we use the shape tool in CorelDRAW. So go ahead and practice with it, create some cool designs using it, and see how that will work out for you. Welcome back to another course in the CorelDRAW tutorial for beginners. Now, in this lesson, we're going to look at the different types of nodes we have in CorelDRAW. So I'm going to select this image. I have created this using a freehand tool. So select the shape tool, and then with that selected, I'm going to select one node. So I'm going to select the node over here. And you can see we have these three options over here. We have the cusp node, the smooth node, and the symmetrical node, but this one is not highlighted at the point. So let's start off with the cusp node. If I select it, what you'll notice with it is that you can, the cusp node allows you to make a point or a curve into a sharp edge. So that means you can distort one anchor to one side, the other one to one side. So they do not share direction, and again, they do not have the same length. So I can shorten this, I can elongate this, so that creates, if I just deselect that, it creates this sharp edge at the end. So that is the cusp node. Again, if I elongate this one, I can change the direction for this one. So that is the cusp node. It allows you to create an edge at a curve point using a node. Let's select the second one. So let's just distort this completely. So we've created this sort of edge using the cusp node. Now let's go to the smooth node. Now the smooth node will allow you to create kind of a curve at that node, but still will have different lengths, but they will all affect the same direction. So I can reduce the length of this one, and this one will remain the same. But if I make a change to this side, you can see there's a change to the other side. Likewise, if I come and click on this anchor point over here and make changes, you can see it's affecting both. But if I lengthen this side, this other side won't be affected. That is the difference between the cusp node and the smooth node. So let's lastly look at the symmetrical node. Now the symmetrical node allows for equal lengths and the same direction. So it will affect the length at the same direction. So I'll lessen this. You can see if I reduce the length of one anchor point, it will affect the other one. And if I try and change the direction here, it will affect it. Let's try again with this one. So with this one, this is currently the cusp node command is not highlighted. This means we're dealing with a cusp node over here. So if I change the direction of one, the other, it won't be affected. Let's see what node we have over here. So over here we have the smooth node where it's curved, yes, but then it will move in the same direction but with different lengths. So if I can shorten this like so and change it like that. So having this knowledge of the 3 different nodes we have will allow you to manipulate your images and come up with different logos using them. So as you're drawing, as you're creating new things, you can use this knowledge to create a new logo, a new image in CorelDRAW. So go ahead and practice with that. Just select the shape with the shape builder tool and you'll have these 3 commands over here. After selecting the node, it will highlight and show you which command is being used. So currently over here we're using the symmetrical node command over here. Welcome back to another tutorial in the CorelDRAW course for beginners. In this class, we're going to look at combining and breaking apart objects in CorelDRAW. Now, combining entails connecting 2 or more objects, and then the resultant will be one object which has the same fill color and the same outline properties. So I have this sphere and this side shape designed over here that I want to combine. So what I'll do is I'll select both of them and then align them. So I'll use the shortcuts E, then C. You can see they're perfectly aligned. Then come to Object, Combine. Now, once they're combined, if I select on it, you can see it's created kind of a white effect inside. Now, this does not mean that the color inside is white. It's just that it's made the shape to be transparent. So if I move it over the edges, you can see that it's actually transparent. You can see the lines at the end over here. So that's how we combine objects. Let's try and combine these 2. Just move it closer. So I'll select both of them. The shortcuts E, then C to align them. Objects, then combine. Again, you can see it's created a it's created a transparent effect. So if I move this over here, you can see, you can actually see through the shape. So it's not white, it's just transparent. It cuts through the shape. Now let's look at breaking these objects apart. So I want to break it apart. What we'll do, and one thing you should notice that now we've combined, they each had different colors, but they ended up with one full color and same outline properties. So that's what combining looks like. Now let's break them apart. So I'll select this one with it selected, object, then break curve apart. Then I'll just deselect and move this away. You can see once we've combined them, then broken them apart, they will share the same fill color. So if you want, you can come back and change the fill color of the image and continue with your design. So let's break apart this object. Select it, then come over here, then break curve apart. I'll deselect, move this over here, and you can see we have 2 different shapes. You have the different shapes back. So go ahead and try this out with as many shapes as you can with different designs in CorelDRAW and see how that will work out for you. Welcome back to another tutorial in the CorelDRAW course for beginners. In this lesson, we're going to look at converting objects or shapes into curve points. So we're going to first start with some basic shapes. So draw a rectangle, an ellipsis or a circle, and I'll use a polygon shape. So let's just add a fill color to this so that we can see the effects that we're going to make on the different shapes. So let's first start with this. If you want to convert a shape into a curve point, what you do is you come to object, with that object selected, then convert to curves, and the shortcut for this is Control Q. So I'll select that and then select the shape tool and I'll click on any point and drag to distort the shape. You can see now I can create anything from this shape. Let's see what we have. So from a rectangle, we've created this little shape over here. Let's see what effect it will have on an elliptical shape. So I'll select the shape, objects, convert to curves, and then select the shape tool. It's important that you make sure you're working with the shape tool. Then click on a point and drag. So I will try and create a balloon kind of shape. So I just curve this out a little bit. Select over here, click on the handles, add a little curve. There we go. So you can distort the shape in any way you want. If I come back here again, let's just redraw this. Give it a fill color. Objects, then convert to curves. So you can also do other distortions to it. So I choose to create a balloon kind of effect, but there's so much more that you can do with that shape. So you can distort it in any way that you want and create awesome, amazing shapes or logos. So that's another one. You just put that on the side and we have the polygon shape. Again, with it selected, object and convert to curves, then select the shape tool. With the shape tool, I can click and drag on any of these nodes to create a shape effect or a new shape. So let's create something that looks like that. Just edit the points. So you can look at it and see the idea that I'm trying to create over here. But basically, this is what you can do once you convert an object or a shape into a curve point. Another thing you need to know is that you can do the same for names or letters. So I'm just going to select the text tool, and over here I'll just type in my name. So I'll select this. Let's change the font. Let's increase the size. That's perfect. So I want to convert this text into a curve point. So again, all I have to do is with the text selected, object, then convert to curves. Now here's one thing that I want you to note. Once you convert any text in CorelDRAW to curves, you cannot edit it. So from that point onwards, it's considered a shape, or yeah, it's considered as a shape or curves in CorelDRAW. So even when you're printing it out, as you print it out, the printer won't recognize this as text. It will recognize this as shapes and curves. So let's select this shape tool. So I want to extend this area, so I'll select all these nodes in that area, click on one and just drag like that. So let's come back again, select all the nodes in this area, Control Z. So let's do that again. I'll select all these nodes, click on one and drag. So select this one, let's just take it back. Perfect. So you can come here and select on any node and then distort it. So you can see what idea I'm going with. So go ahead and try this out on any text, any point. So I'm selecting all these nodes at once and then editing that point. So go ahead and try this out with different shapes, different letters, and see how it works for you. But keep in mind that once you convert text into curve points, you cannot edit them as text again. They are basically now shapes and curves. Welcome back to another tutorial in the CorelDRAW course for beginners. In this tutorial, we're going to look at the eyedropper tool. Now, the eyedropper tool allows you to copy the colors from one shape or object to other shapes. So what I'm going to do is select the eyedropper tool, then come and hover over here. Now I want to select, you can choose which color you want to select. So you can choose the blue color or the green color. So let's first select the green color and apply that to our little square over here, and you can see the color has changed. So again, I'll come back, select the tool. So let's just deselect the tool again. Let's select the blue color and apply it to our shape over here. So that's how the eyedropper tool basically works. So just hit Ctrl Z. Now let's look at another feature that's really cool with the eyedropper tool. So if I click and hold over here, you can see we have the attributes eyedropper. If I select that, it comes with properties at the top. So the attributes eyedropper allows you to copy the properties, the transformation, and the effects of one shape or object to another. So basically, you'll be able to copy the outline, the fill, and the text if you have any from one shape to another. So let's just see how that works out. So I'll just deselect that. So we select that and then we paste it over here. You can see it has changed the fill and the outline to look similar to this one, and it will do that for any shape that you have. So if we come here, let's do that, select that again. So regardless of the shape, it will change its outline and the fill color to be the same as the first shape. Now I'll hit Ctrl Z. Now I want to change the size of the shape. So again, what I'll do is come to transformation and select size. So once that is done, if I click here, I've copied the size of the shape, the fill color, and the outline. And if I still click on here, you can see the size has changed. Not only the fill color, the outline, but also the size has changed. And this will help into even this one. So if I click here, you can see it was a large square, but now it's been taken down into a rectangle. So let's do the same with the ellipsis shape we have over here. So you can see these two are perfect circles, but this is an ellipsis too. So I'm just going to select this, and if I click here, you can see it will change the shape and size of that, the size that is of that object, and the fill color as well as the outline color, and this will be similar to also this one. So go ahead and have fun using those tools, practice them and see how that will work out for you. Welcome back to another tutorial in the CorelDRAW course for beginners. In this lesson, we're going to look at ordering objects in CorelDRAW. Now here I have some shapes that I've created and modified on my own. So let's say I want to order them. Now technically this came first, followed by this, that, and then this, the ellipsis at the end. Now let's say if I order them, let me just try and place them in a way that I can see each one of them. And then we have this one over here. So if you want to bring the star at the back, so you can see we have this star, but it's at the back. There are certain objects, there are certain commands that you can use. So with that star selected, you come to Object, then Order, then you have these options, but mostly you'll be using these four. So the first one you have is to front of layer. Now what this will do is that it will bring the star shape to the very top. So if I click on that, we can see it's come to the very top. It's bypassed the rounded rectangle, the star design over here, and the ellipsis tool, and it came over the top. If you want to take it back, just come back to Objects, Order, and then to back of layer. I need to take it back to that layer. So let's try with this one. Let's try taking this to the back. Object, Order, then. So we have two back of layer and we have back one. Now back one means it will go behind only one layer at a time. So if I click on that command, the sphere has gone behind the star design over here. If I go to that command again, it will go behind the rounded rectangle. Let's see that. So order back one again to go behind the ellipsis tool, and if you click back one again, you'll see it go. Where is the order back one? It will go now behind. It's behind the statue, the star shape. Now let's try bringing the star shape to the front using the front one command. So again, object, order, then forward one. So we're going to select this forward one. You can see it's moved to the top of the rounded rectangle, but it's still behind this third design. So if I want to bring it at the front again with it selected, so I'll select the star, object, order, forward one, and it's at the very top. So go ahead and try out with that command. Try and see what will happen. Again, you have to make sure that you've selected the object that you want to align. Go to object, then order, then we have this. These are the four main ones we're going to be using: to front of layer, to back of layer, forward one, and back one. Welcome back to another tutorial in the CorelDRAW course for beginners. Now in this lesson, we're going to look at creating power clips in CorelDRAW. Now basically, power clips acts like clipping masks. For example, in Adobe Illustrator or in Photoshop. Now in Corel, instead of calling them clipping masks, we call it power clips. Now here I have this image, and then I have this text at the top that the word is ocean. Now I want to create a clipping mask out of this. So what I'll do is I'll select the image, then come to object, power clip, and place inside the frame. Now once that's done, the cursor will change into a black arrow. Now all I have to do is come and select where I want the text to go. So I'll select inside the text, and the image will go inside the text, and as you can see, we've created a power clip. Now this comes with a lot of options. If I select it, you can see we have options over here. The first one is edit. If I select it, it will bring up the image and it will allow me to move it around and position it however I want it. So let's position like that, and once I'm done, I'm just going to come back here and click finish, and you can see the changes have been made. The second option we have over here is select contents. Now this is similar to the first one, but instead of bringing out the image, we'll make the changes from inside the text. So let's select it, and then now I can select the image, and you can see I'm actually moving it to the side like so. Once you're done, you just click outside and you're good to go. That one is extract context. Now this will separate the text and the image. Now here you have the image, and you can see the text has this X to it. This means that this text is now being considered as a picture frame. So that means it's a picture frame for this image, and if I take it back, like so, you have to make sure that you're at the midpoint. So I'll just bring it out again, so you can see that the text has this cross to it, meaning that it's a frame for this image. If you want to take it back, you just select the center and come here, make sure it's at the intersecting point of the text and release it, and then it will be back. And then the last content we have is log contents. Now what this will do is that it will lock down the image, but now I can be able to move the text around. You can even rotate the text. There we go. So those are the options that we have in the seat control Z. So go ahead and try this out. Remember, all you have to do is come to object, then that's where we have the command power clip, and then place inside the frame. Then try out with some images and texts and see how that will work out for you. Welcome back to another tutorial in the CorelDRAW course for beginners. In this lesson, we're going to look at the types of text we have in CorelDRAW. Now, you can either have an artistic effect or a paragraph text. The artistic effect is basically for headings, titles, and the paragraph text is where you do your normal words. So to add an artistic type of text, you select the text tool, then just click once. Then you type in any word. Now, if I select this, I can change the font, the size of that text. Now, I can also add some effects to it. So if I come over here, I have this effect that I can add. So I can add a shadow to it. We have blend, distort, envelope, extrude, and block shadow. So you have lots of effects you can add to it. You can even come back here. So I'm just going to select this, and then we can change the font color. More vibrant, much better. So there's a lot of things you can do with artistic effects to come up with the kind of art design that you want for that text. Now let's look at adding a paragraph text. So just go to the pick tool, then select the text tool again. With paragraph text, you want to click and drag. Now that will create a text box, and here is where you'll type your paragraph text. So I can right click, let's insert some filler text, then select insert placeholder text. So this is kind of a filler text which allows you to change the settings of your text box to see how you want it to look like and what the end product will be like. Then over here we have additional commands. You can choose to bolden your text, italicize it, underline it as well. You can add bullets or numbers. You can add a drop cap to it. So if we remove the drop cap, you can have these other options for indenting your paragraphs. So that's the difference between the artistic text and the paragraph text in CorelDRAW. Welcome back to another tutorial in the CorelDRAW course for beginners. Now in this lesson, we're going to look at the transparency tool in CorelDRAW. Now let's look at this practically. So I'm going to create two shapes, create a polygon. Let's give it a color and then a rectangle. There we go. So I'm just going to place this below here like this, or just place it over here. So let's say I want to make this a bit more transparent so I can see the shape that I have beneath. I'll come over here and select this tool, the transparency tool. And with it selected, you can see we have 5 options here. We have uniform transparency, point transparency, vector, bitmap, 2-color, and lastly texture transparency. Now one thing you should note is that mostly in CorelDRAW, the ones you're going to use the most are uniform transparency and fountain transparency. So let's use the uniform transparency mode. So if I click on it, you can see it will make the topmost objects a bit transparent. And I have this slide over here where I can increase or reduce the opacity of that object. So right now I'm increasing its transparency, and if I take it down, I'm increasing its opacity. And you can actually do that from over here, so it's more transparent. Click, it's a bit more opaque. But that's the whole idea on uniform transparency. It works on the whole object, reducing and increasing its transparency. Now let's select the fountain transparency option. Now what that does, it applies a gradient to your shape. So if I click on this slider, this way. You can see I'm reducing the transparency as we go through. Again, you can change the direction of the gradient if you want to, just by clicking and dragging. And again, you have the options at the top over here to work with, so you can change the angle from over here if you want, or you can manually just come here and make the changes. Increase the opacity. Now we're increasing the transparency. You can reduce it if you want, but basically that's how you use those two. So that's the uniform transparency mode and the fountain transparency mode. Go ahead and try working with these two modes in CorelDRAW. Practice with any image or objects that you'll create and see how that will work out for you. Welcome back to another lesson in the CorelDRAW course for beginners. In this lesson, we're going to look at some effects that we have in CorelDRAW, and the first one is going to be the drop shadow effect. So I'm going to create a shape. Let's give it a fill color. Now I want to add a drop shadow to this. So I'll come over here, click, then select the shadow effect. Now from over here we have presets that you can select from, or you can choose to click from the center and just drag, and then you've created a drop shadow. Then you can see the properties that's changed over here, so you can change the direction of your shadow. So currently it's on drop shadow tool, but you can select the inner shadow tool. You can see the difference between the two. I'll leave it at drop shadow. Then from over here you can change the color of your shadow if you want to. You can increase the opacity of the shadow. So I'll advise taking the opacity a bit down to make it not so obvious when you're designing, when you're coming up with your design. Or you can choose to click and drag on this slider over here, so you can see I'm increasing, and then you can reduce the opacity. That's okay. You can change the feather, shadow feathering if you want, but I'll leave mine at 15. So you can still do this for text. So come over here, select the text tool, I'm going to select this text, and then with the text selected, I can come over here, click, select the shadow option. Again, you can click and drag from the center. Just place it over there. I can change, let's just zoom in a little bit. I can change its opacity from over here, or I can change from over here. So I'll just reduce that. Again, the features will not change. You can change the color of the shadow and so on. So you have all these options to choose from. So I'll leave it at that. But that's basically how you apply a shadow to your text or to any object in CorelDRAW. We're now going to look at the last effect we have in CorelDRAW, and that's the extrude effect or the extrude tool. Now this will help you create a 3D effect on your images or in your text in CorelDRAW. Now let's create a shape, create a rectangle or a square, and then let's add a color to it. And then I'll select the extrude tool and then just click and drag like so. So you can see we've created this 3D effect to this shape. If we come back here, you can see we have these options, properties that we can work this. The first one is the type of extrusion that you want, so you can change it from over here. The other one is the depth, the depth of the extrusion effect, so you can reduce this or increase it. And then we have these other effects over here. You can change the color, so the color that you're using currently. So that is the effect of the 3D color effect. So we have all these effects that you can work with and see how they work. So let's try and see what this will look like if you're working with text. So with the text selected, I'll click on this and just come here, click and drag, and we have this effect. So Control Z first. Let me just resize this, then let's apply the extrude effect. Come over here, change the color of the effect. Now you can see the effect that we've added to the text. Again, we have presets that you can come and use. Control Z. Let's try this. So we have presets over here that you can use. Same with the text. You can change the depth of the effect and the directions from over here. So go ahead and work out with the other properties that you have and with other objects and shapes in CorelDRAW and see how this will work out for you. Welcome back to another tutorial in the CorelDRAW course for beginners. In this lesson, we're going to look at the envelope tool. Now, the envelope tool will allow you to distort the shape of any object in CorelDRAW. So I'm going to start off by creating a rectangle. I like using a fill color so you can clearly see the changes that are going to be made. So with that selected, I'm going to select the envelope tool, and that's under the shadow tool. So with that selected, I can come here and distort the shape in any direction, in any way I want. So you can see it's not particularly following any order. I'm just going as I go. So that's one way of working with the envelope tool. I'm just going to put this over here. So let's create a different shape. And then select the envelope tool. Now you can see it has three different commands over here, or different modes. So the first one is you have the straight line mode. Now with the straight line mode, you can only make the edits on a straight line, so like this. So if I want, Control Z, select the straight line mode and then click and drag. So you can only see I can only operate on a straight line. So it's either moving to the right or downwards with that side. This will apply to any side. It's either up or to the side. I can't move it around. So it's either up, down, or left or right. That's what it means when it says the straight line mode. Let's try with another shape. So try another polygon. Let's give it a fill color this time, and then select the distort, the envelope command. Then we have the single arc mode. Now with this one, you can only change half an arc of the shape. So let me just show you. If I click and drag, you can only see it's affecting the half of this line. The same with this side. Create kind of half an arc effect. Same to that. Let's look at the last one that we have. Give it a fill color. Distort. We have the double arc mode. Now the difference between the double arc mode and the single arc mode is that with this one, you can affect two sides if you want to. So if I want to affect the side on my right, I can do so. If I want to affect the side downwards, I can still do so. You can see I've created this double arc effect on this shape. So let's do that again. So you can do that, and then the same side, bring it in. So you can see the double arc effect I've created over here. But with the single arc effect, like you have this in this one, you can only affect one side. So it's either the left side or it's actually only either you go to the left side. So I can't affect two sides at once, like when you're using the double arc mode effect. So that's the difference between the double arc mode and the single arc mode. So go ahead and try working with this effect on different shapes and different objects in CorelDRAW and see how that will work out for you and what kind of results you will get. The next effect that we're going to look at is the distort effect. And now the distort effect comes with 3 different presets. So let's look at them. I'm going to first create some shapes here. Let's give it a different fill color. So with this selected, I'm going to select the distort command, and it's either the shadow command, so select distort, and then you can see you have 3 different commands here. So we have the push and pull distortion, we have the zipper distortion, and lastly we have the twister distortion. Now we realize from the names that they all work the same, so they work according to the names that they've been given. So I'll select the push and pull distortion for this one. From the center, click and drag. So you can click and drag from either direction, and you can see the effect that I'm creating. So basically it's affecting the edges of the shape, and I've created this really cute shape over here. So you can use this when creating images, illustration, logos, even in CorelDRAW. Now with the second one selected, I'm going to select the zipper distortion. So just click and drag, and I'm doing this from the side. You can see it creates this soul-like effect at the edge. So from the name zipper, you can see the kind of soul-like effect that's going on around at the edges. So let's select that one, and we have the twisted distortion. Again, if I click and drag, so with this you twist it like so. You can see what I'm working with. So let me hit Ctrl Z. Let's do that again. This time from the center. You can see it basically takes the shape and twist it. You can go back, you can make changes, you can move this around, so you create something that looks like this. Let me just deselect. So this is just an example of what you can do with the distort effect in CorelDRAW. In order for you to realize its full potential, you need to go ahead and with each of these commands we have over here, it has its own properties. So go ahead and look at each of these properties and see how each one of them can be applied to a shape and how you can further enhance illustrations in CorelDRAW. In this lesson, we're going to look at the second effect that we have in CorelDRAW, and that's the contour effect. So I'm going to create a shape over here, and then I'm going to select the contour command. So it's under shadow. So after the shadow effect, you have the contour effect. So if you select it, you can see we have 3 options over here. You can select it to be to center. So I'm just going to hit Ctrl Z first. Let's give this a fill color. So then we select the contour command. So we have to center, we have inside contour, and we have outside contour. Now depending on which one you've selected, you can come over here and select the number of steps you want to add. Then you can change the offset, the contour offset. So most of the time just ensure that it's at 2.0, and then over here 2.0 millimeters. Then over here we have the color, so you can opt to change the color. Let's give it a lighter color. There we go. Welcome back to another class in the CorelDRAW tutorial for beginners. In this lesson, we're going to look at the blend effect. Now, let's try and create something like this. And this might come out when you're trying to create maybe birthday design, holiday designs. It's not that often that you'll use the blend effect, but it's good that you know how to apply it correctly. So I'm going to start off by creating a rectangle. So let's draw a rectangle over here, and then we'll create an ellipsis somewhere around here. So let's add a color to this. Let's use different colors. Push it back. That seems okay. So with this selected, I'm going to come over here to the blend tool. Now it's over here. So if I click and hold, you can see it's under the shadow and control effect. So let's select the blend effect. Then you just click from one point to the other, and then you release it, and then you've created this really cool effect. Now, as any tool in CorelDRAW, this will also come with some of its properties as well as some presets. Now, from over here, you can choose the number of steps you want your blending to be in. So you can increase the number of steps, you can reduce them. Then you can change the angle at which your blending is at. So if you highlight over here, you can see you can change the blend direction. So if we just continue like that, you can see the change that's happening around here. Then you have other effects over here. Let's look at this one. So this one is known as the loop blend, and if you click on it, it creates this loop effect. So what I want from you is to go through the other effects that you over here and practice it. And then lastly, you have the clear blend command, and if I click on that, it will just do as it says. It will clear the blend. So Control Z, let's undo that. So go ahead and try out this effect tree over here, see what they'll do, and try working with other shapes and objects in CorelDRAW. Here's a really productive shape to use in CorelDRAW. Now I'll show you how to create zigzag and wavy lines in CorelDRAW. Now using the Freehand tool or the 2-point line tool, create a straight line. Then select the shape tool and select one of the nodes. Then from over here, select this command, add nodes. So I'll just click on it to add as many nodes as I want on my line, and you can see that they are all evenly spaced. Now from here, I'll hold down the Control key and select these nodes at intervals, like so. And then you drag them out like so, and as you can see, we've created a zigzag line. Now again, if you want to create a wavy line out of this, just double click on the shape tool to select all the nodes. You can see they're all selected, and then come to this command and select convert to curve. Now with that selected, I'll come here and select smooth node. You can see we've created a wavy line. Those are the ways you can use to create a zigzag and a wavy line really fast in CorelDRAW. Welcome back to another tutorial in the CorelDRAW course for beginners. In this class, we're going to look at how to wrap text around an object or an image in CorelDRAW. So first, we're going to create a paragraph text. Control paste. So this is some text that I had from earlier on, and I want to add an image to this. So I'll come to where I have the image, click and drag. Remember, there are more than one ways to do this. So, and I add it. Now I want to have the text. As you can see right now, there's some text behind the image. Now I want it to be wrapped around the image. So with it selected, you come to this option, the wrap text option over here. Click on it, and you can see currently it's at none. Then you have all these options here. So let's select them, text to left, right. You can actually see as I hover on this option how it will look like. So let's select straddle text. Now you'll notice as I move the image, the text will move in kind of a rectangular sequence. Now what I can do is I can add columns to my text. So columns, let's make them 3, click OK. and Control Z. Now I will move my text, select straddle text. Now you can see the text will move and wrap around the image. So this is really handy when you're working with, we're trying to create a logo design or create an ad using CorelDRAW. So this is how you go about it, and you wrap your text around that image. Welcome back to another tutorial in the CorelDRAW course for beginners. In this lesson, we're going to look at some different things that you can do with text or while working with text. And the first one is how to create columns in the paragraph text. So we looked at how to create paragraph text and heading text. So right now we are working with paragraph text. So first of all, I'm going to come over here. I had this text. So Control A, Control C to copy. Then we come back to CorelDRAW. Select the text tool, and then I'll just click and drag to create a text box. Then Control V to paste all the text that I had. So you can see I have my text looking like this, but I want it in a column. So what I'll do is I'll come to text. Then we have columns, and then from here this will pop up, and then you can choose the number of columns you want. So I select 2, it will give me 2 columns, 3, 4, and so on. So let's first check out 2, then select, make sure that you have equal column width, and with everything remaining the way it is, it's just click OK, and there we go. So we have 2 columns, but unfortunately the text I have is not enough to overflow. So let's try and reduce this. So you can see what happens if I had a smaller text box. So the text will overflow from the first column to the second one. Let's try working with 3 columns again. So text, columns, 3 columns, click OK. Again, you can see what we're working with. I have columns, and this is very useful when you're creating a business card or a poster and you want to have your text in columns that is in CorelDRAW. So go ahead and try applying columns to text in CorelDRAW and familiarize yourself with this concept. Here's a smart tip that you can use when working in CorelDRAW. Now I have this grouped object, and you can see it's grouped, but I just created it from shapes. Now if you want to select an object within a group, there is a pretty handy shortcut that you can use. So hold down the Control key and then click on the object that you want to select from that group, and then you can make changes to that object. Again, if I try and select these star over here, you can see it will select the whole group. But if I hold on the Control key instead and then select on it, I'll be able to select on that object, and then I release the Control key and go ahead and make my changes. Now if you want to select multiple objects from a group, again hold on the Control key, select, then this time hold on the Shift key in order to select another one, like so, and then you can go ahead and make a change like so. So go ahead and try using the shortcuts and see how they will work out for you. Here's this neat trick that you need to know in CorelDRAW. Now when you're rotating an object or an image in CorelDRAW, if you hold on the Control key and then you rotate it, it will do so in 15-degree increments. So let's just take it back. So right now we're at 0. If you look over here, you can see it's 15, 30, 45, 60, and so on. So the increments are at 15 degree. Now if you want to change that, what you do is you come to Tools, Options, CorelDRAW, and then from here you go to Edit, and then you can change the degree increments from here, so you can make them less or more, and then once you're done, just click OK, and the command will have changed. Here's a quick tip that will save you tons of time in CorelDRAW. Now if you want to mirror an object in CorelDRAW, all you have to do is hold down the Control key, and with the pick tool selected, come to the edge over here, click and drag, then release, and you can see we've made a mirror of that image. Now if you want to make a duplicate of the mirror of that image, again just hold on the Control key and click and drag, and when you get here, right click, and then you can see we've created a mirror of that image. So if I drag this out a little bit, you can see. So this is the mirror, and then I've mirrored the image and then duplicated it on the other side. Here's a short productive tip in CorelDRAW. Now, if you make it select all the objects at once and then select the weld command, all these objects will take the properties of the object that was created first, and that was this rectangle. So if I click on that, you will see that all the other objects will take the properties of that rectangle. But if I choose, so Control Z, if I choose to select this object one at a time, then select weld, the objects will all take the properties of the object that was selected last, and that is this object. So let's try making the blue one the last object to select. So to select, then hold down Shift, select that ring, and then weld. You can see it will all take the properties of that object that was selected last. Welcome to another tutorial in the CorelDRAW course for beginners. Now here we're going to recreate another logo, and this time we're going to recreate the Instagram logo. Now let's get started. We're going to select the rectangle tool, and then holding down Control, we're going to draw a square. Control Z. So hold down Control, and we have the square. So I'm just going to center it over here, like so. Then I'll select the shape tool, click on the edges and drag. So we're into a perfect circle, just something like that. And you can see we have softened the edges. Now with it selected, we're going to select the mesh fill tool. I'm just going to double click here. Then I'll select this area. Now I'm just going to add the colors that we have in the logo. I'll add them as we go. Pink over here. Duplicative. Orange. So that looks almost perfect. Finish up over here with a little more pink. Turn the blue here, and pink over here. There we go. So this looks close to what we normally have in the Instagram logo. I'm going to leave it at that. Let me just center. We'll draw another square. Hold on the Control key. Just center it here. Try and resize it. Then using the shape tool, I'm going to soften the edges. Control D, create a duplicate. Into here, so let's minimize it. There we go. So you can use the arrow keys to center it. That looks perfect. So I'll select the smart fill tool, click over here, let's change that to white. There we go. Select the inner part and then remove the fill color, so we're left with it like that. Then we'll select this fourth, like so, and remove the outline. So we have something like that. Now let's add the centerpiece. We have two circles in here, so select the ellipsis tool, hold down Control key. We want a perfect circle. Let's center that. So over here you can choose to zoom in to see your work correctly. So we have that, Control D. I'm going to resize this, and then we're going to center it in the middle, like so. And resize it again. There we go. I'll select the smart fill again, click over here. Let's change that to white. Select your pick tool. I'll select these two again, holding down the shift key. Let's remove the outline, and we have something like this. So I'm just going to remove this a bit. Like so. So if we zoom out, you can see we have something that looks almost like the Instagram logo. What's remaining is the little white circle that you have at the top. There we go. Let's resize that. Fill color white, and there we go. So that's how you create an Instagram logo in CorelDRAW. Here's a smart tip on how to duplicate an object or an image in CorelDRAW. So traditionally, we know you're supposed to select an object and press Ctrl D, and you will make duplicates as you go. But now there's another tip that you can use. Just hold on the Alt and then F7 key, and then the transform tab will appear. So with it selected, I can choose the first option, and that's the position. And then from here, you can set the distance. So that's the height and the width. And then you can select the number of copies you have. So right now I work with 4. And then you click apply, and then it will form 4 other copies of that using the distance that you set. So you can also change the angle from over here when you're making those duplicates. So the other option is the rotate option, and this is where you change the angle. So let's see, let's do 65 angle. Let's put some distance over here. I want 3 copies, click apply, and that's it. So right here, I was not that intentional with the distance, so you have to put a little bit more distance, but you can see the rotational aspect that's happening over here. So if I'm to actually do that and add more copies to this, you can see I'll create this intricate new design. So we have those options that you can use over here, and you also have tricks where you can use your mouse, the left mouse key, to duplicate. So with this selected, I can left click on the mouse and drag it to somewhere where I want to duplicate it, then hold down the right key button and then release both of them. Now if you've seen, if I hold down the right key button, I get this plus icon. That means it will add to that duplicate, and if I release it, we've got a new duplicate over here. Another way you can do that is to just right click directly onto the object and then click and drag. Then select copy here and you have a duplicate. Let's try again. Let's try with this one. Right click, click and hold, then release it, select copy here, and you can see we've made a duplicate to that point. Lastly, another way you can do that is by you left click on the object, you drag it to wherever you want to duplicate it, then you click on the spacebar. Now that will place a duplicate, and then you can go ahead and do that more and more and add to the duplicate. So I'm just dragging, I'm still holding on to the left key button and then pressing the spacebar key as I go. So go ahead and try those options and see how they work out for you. Welcome back to another tutorial in the CorelDRAW course for beginners. In this class, we're going to look at dockers. Now, dockers are found on your right side of the CorelDRAW window. Now, dockers allow you to change the properties, the shape, color, just to change any properties of a given object. And they're called dockers because you can displace them from there, but then you can pick them back and put them there. So kind of docking. In order to deactivate a docker, you just click on it, and then you get this pane opening up, and then you can use it to make it changes whatever. Then once you're done, you just click on the docker again and it's gone. Again, you can delete a docker from over here, or you can add one. So to delete, you just click on the X symbol. So if I click on that, we've deleted the object. But if you want to add one, you just click over here, and then this will come up. You can click on any, and then it will be added. There we go. Another way to add a docker is to come to Window, Dockers, and then you select from this list. So I'll select palettes, and then you can see it's been added. So go ahead and try this out and see how each of this will work out for you. And then from here, you can use the dockers to do whatever you want on your project. Here's a smart productive tip to use in CorelDRAW. I'm going to show you how to copy an object's attribute onto another object. So this is the object with the attributes I want to copy, and the first common way to do this is by selecting the attributes eyedropper tool. Now with that selected, I'll come over here. So select the attributes eyedropper, then come to the object with the attribute, copy, and then I'll come and add it. Click on the object that I want to add the attributes to, and as you can see, they're all going to get the same attributes: the shadow, the outline, and the fill color. So that is way number one. Way number two is I can select this object by holding down the shift key and come to edit, copy properties from, then click on that, and then I'll select the properties that I want to select, click OK, and then I'll choose the object with the attributes I want to copy. So I'll click on that, and as you can see, it's copied the outline pen, and the fill color to all the three objects. So that way to do this is I can right click on this on the object with the attributes I want, and click and drag and hold it over the object I want to copy the attributes onto, release the mouse, and then it will give me these three options. So I can copy the fill, only the fill color. So let's right click again and drag over here. I can copy the outline. As you can see, the outline has changed. If I click and drag here, I can select to copy all properties, and it has the fill color and the outline. So those are the three ways that you can use to copy attributes from one object to another. Welcome back to another tutorial in the CorelDRAW series for beginners. Now, here we're going to advance a little bit, and we're going to start recreating some logos that we have. So in this lesson, we're going to recreate the Apple logo, and it's very simple, so just follow along and you'll get the hang of it. So first of all, we're going to select the ellipsis tool, and then we're going to draw an ellipsis like so. Then with the pick tool selected, press Ctrl D to make a duplicate, and then I'll just bring that over here. Like so. Then I'll select both of them and weld. Select this command, weld. And that will weld these two, and you can see now you have this one object. Now with the image selected, I'll select the shape tool, select this node, and then come over here and select symmetrical node. Now this will make the place a little bit symmetrical. Let's use that a little bit. There we go. I'll do the same with the top. Symmetrical node. Okay, a little dent, and that's good. So now we have the apple. I'm going to just resize this a bit. There we go. Now I'll create another circle, but now I want a perfect circle, so I'm holding down the Control key as I draw this out. Then Control D, make it duplicate. Now with the first circle, I'm going to place it over here, like so. Then I'll select these two and select this command, back minus font. Now once I click on it, you can see what's happened to the shape that we had. It's created a new curve over here. Now with this shape, with this circle, I'll press Ctrl D, create a new copy, align them as such, like so. Then I'll select both of them, select intercept, and then I'll delete the other part, and I'm left with this. Now I'll click over here. Let's rotate it a bit. I'm using the arrow keys to move this into place. Let's resize it, and then Control A to select all, then add the color, and there you go. Now you can choose if you want to group this. You can just select all of them by pressing Control A, Object, then Group, and now we'll have this logo as a group. You can see now that's how easily you can create the Apple logo.